this video we're going to be looking at all the launch titles for the PlayStation in Europe, and we're going to be using this magazine here to guide us, comparing their reviews and my own thoughts, and I'll be showing lots of gameplay footage. So here's a quick sneak peek of what's to come. First game we're going to be looking at, and the first review in this very first issue, is for Wipeout. Here's the box art of that game, which is a rather nice design, and one of the key features it's mentioned on here is it features music from Chemical Brothers, Left Field and Orbital. In this review they basically say that the game has a very steep learning curve. It's a nice 4-page spread is this one. And yeah, it takes a while to get going. It's a hard game to start with, but once you start to learn its tricks, it's very rewarding. Overall, they give it an 8 out of 10, and they said a gravity-defying, stomach-churning, futuristic racing game. A little more in-your-face passion would have been welcome, but it's still enormous fun. My thoughts on this one: I did enjoy it. It's a decent game. They're definitely right on the learning curve. It does start hard and it does start to feel rewarding once you start to nail the corners. The biggest downside of this one, I'd say, is that the sequel, Wipeout 2097, kind of takes everything this game had and improves upon it. Better weapons, better craft, better tracks, better music. So for me, it's kind of an interesting look at an older game, but you're probably better off just getting the sequel. So yeah, for me, I'd say this one is probably a 6.5. Between a 6 and a 7, I'd say, out of 10 for me in terms of yeah, how well it's aged. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. Next, we've got Battle Arena Toshinden, and again, a quick look at the box art, which is a rather nice PAL box art. I really like this one actually. Much better design than overseas, in my opinion. And yeah, this one is. Again, it's a good game. They actually did a 3-page spread on this one. Yeah, 3-page spread on this one. And yeah, they said it's very graphically attractive, which yeah, it still is quite graphically attractive. Obviously, there's been a lot better games on the PlayStation in its 5-6 year lifespan. But the main thing is they said it's fun in multiplayer, and I've got to agree with that one. It's a lot of fun. Overall, they give it an 8 out of 10 and said a handsome 3D weapon wielding, rib bruising, projectile hurling, butt kicking beat 'em up, an ideal introduction to the underworld of the polygon combat game. One of the highlights they said in this one, it's one of the first 3D beat 'em ups with sidestepping. And yeah, I must admit, 3D beat 'em ups, I very rarely use the sidestepping, but it's nice to have that there, and it gives it an edge over some other 3D beat 'em ups at the time. Obviously, this is before Tekken came out at this point, but yeah, it's a very good game. It's fun to go back to. It is a good laugh with friends. Some of the special moves are bizarre, and the ring outs are always good fun and quite hilarious as well. So for me, I'd give this one a firm 7 out of 10, and yeah, worth a visit, definitely. Next, we've got Destruction Derby. I've got the rather beautiful big box version here. A lot of the early games were big box, including Wipeout that we saw earlier, but they're a lot harder to come by because they soon got reissued into smaller boxes. But yeah, nice box on that one. This is just a 2-page spread on the Destruction Derby here. The main comments on it, they didn't like the handling of the cars, but they thought it was quite a fun game, but a little bit repetitive. And again, I've got to agree with the sentiments there. It is fun. I actually don't mind the handling too much. They complained in this review about spinning out of control and not knowing which way you were facing, and not having any indicators on the screen to get you back on course. But yeah, that didn't really bother me. It was more the repetitive nature of it that let it down for me. Overall, they gave it a 7 out of 10 and said, this game succeeds in spite of itself. Glaring faults are forgiven as you bash your way around. The cars denting beyond recognition. Muted applause please. Which was, 7 out of 10 on that one. I think, much like Wipeout, this has got the issue of a very good sequel. Some people prefer this version. I know Kim Justice prefers the first one, but I much preferred the second one. I like the verticality of it, the big jumps, some crazy crashes on that one. And for me, this one drops down to a 6. I still think it's a great game. It's a fun game. It's just a little bit too repetitive and the tracks are all a little bit samey. So yeah, just a 6 from me on this one. Next we have NBA Jam Tournament Edition. Again, some box art for you. Nice simple box art, that one. And they really liked this game. Again, it's just a 2-page spread. They mentioned in the review about facing up against their sister magazine Edge and having some really good multiplayer action. Overall, they gave it a 8 out of 10, and the review says, boom shakalaka, there has never been more hula about hoops. NBA Jam is rim-rocking, jamming basketball game. Forget the looks, enjoy the gameplay. The downside, of course, that they said it is basically a Mega Drive game, but slightly better graphics, not quite as good as the arcade. I thought this was not a good game in single player. I do remember playing in the arcades and it was fun in multiplayer. All the special moves are brilliant, seeing all the different slam dunks. But the problem with single player is you pass to the computer controlled guy on your team and then you can't move him around, you just can tell him to pass or shoot. It just feels a bit odd. Normally in a game, in a sports title, you'll pass to the other person and you can take control of that person. And yeah, that just took a lot of getting used to, and to be honest, it really affected the enjoyment for me. Generally, I don't care that much for basketball anyway, but that reflects in my score, which I would actually give this one as low as a 4, maybe a 5 at a push. It didn't hold up that well for me, and I think there are better basketball games out there. So we have XCOM Enemy Unknown, and again, there's the box art for you. Actually, I really like that box art. I think that's really cool. Bit of comic strip in the background, an alien in the foreground. Yeah, pretty cool. The magazine actually really likes it. It's a weird one. They kind of slate it for being a PC game and being clunky to control, but then they say they really like it as long as you play it with a mouse. It says it's a very, very slow starting game, but it's got longevity. And they welcome this sort of PC conversion onto the PlayStation. I think that's kind of why they bumped up the score more than perhaps they should have done, because ultimately the PC version is much better on a game like this. My thoughts on it, well, let's read the review first. So the conclusion of the review is an 8 out of 10, and it says, as a strategy game, this is going to take some beating. If you feel like something less frantic and a little more thoughtful than the norm, then this is one to try. I played through the tutorial on this, so it's the first time I've ever played this game. I played through the tutorial and I must admit it was pretty slow and pretty dull. I hear that it gets better further into the game, but it just didn't fill me with, wanting to play it further. It was a little bit meh. I don't want to rate it too bad, but I'm going to have to rate it again somewhere between a 4 and a 5. I'd like to give it more of a chance and play it some more, but after an hour with it, I still didn't get much of the point of it. The battling was okay, but I've seen that done much better in games like Fallout, and then the space exploration, planet managing was just a bit weird. So yeah, not a great one for me, but I know a lot of people absolutely love this game, so apologies if you're offended by that. On to the next. Next up we have the original Ridge Racer, which again, I've got a lovely big box version of that one. I love the art, and of course the big box design. This is the highest rating, spoilers, this is the highest rating in the magazine. They give it a 9 out of 10. And basically it's a tiny review. You can see it's only one page essentially, and the rest of the page is just pictures. But yeah, they loved the speed of the game. They loved the wanting to keep going at it and master it and just pull off that final drift. And yeah, I get that completely on this game. They give it a 9 out of 10 and said one of the most auspicious gaming debuts on any machine ever. Namco's programmers are gods to whom you should sacrifice your cash now. Yeah, it's a really, really good game. I must admit, this one passed me by when it first came out. I played the later games, Ridge Racer Type 4, but I did play this in the arcade, and I absolutely loved it in the arcade. I loved the music, and yeah, they rave about the music as well, which is well deserved. And the speed of it feels good. It feels like a really good conversion. So overall, yeah, I think it's a really good game. I can't give it more than an 8 though, because there's only one track. Admittedly, there's 2 variations on that track, plus the reverse variations. And once you complete the game, once you get the reverse, and they are tough, really tough, but they do make you want to keep coming back and getting better and better. And I played this for about 3 hours, which is mad for a game with one track. So yeah, 8 out of 10 I think is fair, and yeah, I actually look forward to playing more of this one. It was a really fun game. Next up is Rapid Reload, and I'd love to say I own this one, and I kind of do. I own the Japanese version, which is Gunner's Heaven. The English version is very expensive. I really want to own it, but I can't. It's about £250. That's a lot of money for a single game, especially one that's not that great, as you can see from this review. Yeah, they basically slate the game for being 2D, which was very common at the time. 2D games did not get much love on the PlayStation. They saw this as this big advancement, new console, and yeah, 2D games could be played on a Mega Drive, or as mentioned in this review, it looks a bit like a Super Nintendo game. It's funny because actually looking back, the 2D games tend to have aged a bit better in a lot of people's eyes. Early 3D a lot of people don't like, but I actually quite like it. I think it's got a very nice aesthetic. But yeah, essentially this is a 16-bit game with like, I don't know, 32-bit colouring or something like that. It's, as you can see from the gameplay footage, it's not bad, it's just a bit repetitive. So lots of cool weapons, lots of cool bosses, the levels are okay. It just doesn't feel all that special, and I must admit I got bored halfway through, and yeah, they rate it as a 5 out of 10, and they said despite its innate simplicity, Rapid Reload triumphs in the die alien scum and haha got you sense. As for the long-lasting appeal, forget it. So yeah, it doesn't really warrant too many playthroughs. I think it's only single player as well, which is a bit of a shame. I think like predecessors such as Gunstar Heroes were multiplayer, so not the best entry and very, very expensive. Maybe one day I'll own a genuine version of this one, but not anytime soon. Next we've got Lemmings 3D, or as the box says, 3D Lemmings, which is a bit confusing. And which is it? I think I'll go by the box and have 3D Lemmings. This was probably the biggest surprise for me when playing through these games. Yeah, the review essentially says it's a really good and addictive game, and of course it's Lemmings in 3D. How do you make Lemmings in 3D? Well, you add turners, is the main big difference, which enables a lemming to go at a 90-degree right angle. The graphics are okay, and again the review says it's not going to set the world alight, but it's still a very good game. Overall they give it an 8 out of 10 and said, love it or hate it, Lemmings 3D is addictive and extremely playable. Not a showcase PlayStation game, but a nice alternative to the norm. And yeah, it's like I say, it was the biggest surprise for me. I really enjoyed this. I only played through the tutorial and then the fun levels, but even that took me, it must have been nearly 4 hours. And I enjoyed it. I really did. I must admit, by the end of it, I thought it's time to take a break. but yeah, I had a lot of fun playing through this, and the challenge is good. I admit the tricky levels and the mayhem levels, I'm sure, are much harder because they always are in Lemmings games. The biggest difficulty to get used to start with is the camera. The controls on it are a little bit clunky. You use the shoulder buttons to effectively emulate left and right mouse buttons, and yeah, it just feels a bit weird. But to compensate for that, you can just pause the game at any point. You can move the camera around and set its location, and move a different camera and set that one. So you can set yourself up. It just takes a bit more time than it would on a normal Lemmings game. Yeah, I think I'd actually agree with this one as an 8 out of 10 game. I wouldn't go quite as far as 9 out of 10 because the camera can be a little bit frustrating. And overall, by the end of my 4-hour play session, I was a bit fed up. But I'm going to definitely go back to it, and I'm going to try the next lot of levels. It was good fun. I'm looking forward to trying it again. So yeah, I'd recommend this one, definitely. We have Jumping Flash next. Again, that's really nice box art. I really like this one with the robot rabbit on the front. Very attractive box art. This one got a very good write-up as well, essentially saying this is a completely new way to do platform games, which really at the time it was. There wasn't really any 3D platform games per se. This is how they decided to do it with Jumping Flash. I actually really like the way they've done this. It's all first person, and when you jump, you look down as to where you're going to land. So it makes platforming a little bit easier. You've got double jumping on there as well, and it's a fun game. It's a little bit over cutesy at times, but it is a fun game. It's got an interesting variety of enemies, really interesting levels, loads of verticality. Some levels with like roller coaster sections, and there's a boss every 3 levels, I believe it is. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I will definitely come back to this one. The biggest downside they've put in this review is that once you've played it through once, you've done it. You've seen everything there is to see. And yeah, it didn't come across many secrets. There are some bonus levels to find, but that's about it. And the bonus levels aren't that exciting. They get an 8 out of 10. Their review is their conclusion is Jumping Flash is one of the new breed of games that only PlayStation can do. It's a whole new gaming experience, so if you can afford it, jump at the chance. So, and they give it 8 out of 10. I would also give it 8 out of 10. I think it's a lot of fun. It's good to play through. I wouldn't say it doesn't set the world alight. It's not one of the greatest games of all time or anything daft like that. But it's a good fun game. So yeah, if you see a copy of this, it's probably on PlayStation Store as well if you want to play it on a modern console. It's definitely worth playing through. Air Combat is next, and this is a lovely little box. It's actually quite hard to find this one without a platinum release. It must have sold well enough to get a platinum release, but yeah, to find the originals are a bit tough. But yeah, Air Combat. In this review, they essentially say it's a fun game. They don't think the plane visuals are good, which I think is a bit harsh. I think they look fine. I must admit, I don't like the designs on the planes on this one. They've all got this weird orange and purple and white design. But overall, that doesn't bother me at all. And then the other criticism they give of the game is that it's far too short and easy. I don't mind short, easy games when I'm doing reviews like this. Helps me blast through them. And I thought some of the levels had significant challenges, especially the canyon levels where you've got to navigate through a canyon without going too high, otherwise you get shot down. Those were quite difficult. They give it a 6 out of 10 and said, in terms of excitement, Air Combat is an A-class product, but it just doesn't deliver in the staying power. Its coin-op lineage is painfully apparent. I played it for what must have been an hour and a half, and I didn't finish it, so I think it's got a reasonable longevity. That didn't bother me. Again, much like 2 of the other games we've had a look at so far, I'd say the sequel is much better, and I very much enjoyed the sequel. It's got better plane designs, better level designs, and overall better graphics. So again, it's hard to look back at this one. But it's good to see where it started from, and of course the missions are completely different, so it's worth playing through. I would give this somewhere between a 7 and an 8, I'd say. I'd definitely higher than a 6. I think that's a little unfair. But yes, 7 or 8 if at a push. Next we have Discworld. And beautiful box art. I really like the box art on this one. Really nice. This game is one of my favourite games on the PC. In fact, it's probably my favourite point-and-click game, traditional point-and-click game. It's really good humour. I love the British voice actors. You've got Eric Idle, you've got Tony Robinson, the Welsh chap, I've forgotten his name now, but yeah, got some really good quality British actors playing the voices. And yeah, I think it's just a good fun game. You can just go around chatting with everyone. You've got various dialogue options. I tend to just go through all the dialogue options, go back and forth. The big downside of this game is really you'll need a guide to play it. I've played it that many times that obviously I don't need one because I'm used to where everything is. But if it's your first time playing, you need a guide. It's just the clues aren't very good. But still, it's a lot of fun. It's well, I'll read what they've put. So 7 out of 10 is what they give it, and they said Discworld is a strange one for the PlayStation and won't appeal to everyone. It's difficult in a frustrating sense, but at least you won't finish it in one sitting. And that's definitely true. I must admit, Act 1 is a lot of fun. Act 2 starts to drag, and yeah, it just kind of gets worse as you go along. You kind of, by the end of the game, you kind of want to get it over and done with. However, the biggest downside of this version is that it's just a bit clunky. The dialogue skips sometimes. The animations constantly skip around and freeze and are very jerky. The PC version is much better, and I would give the PC version like either an 8 or a 9 out of 10. It's 8.5, let's call it. I think it's a fantastic game. This version, if it's the only way you can play the game, then fair enough. I'd still give it a 7 out of 10, but just get the PC version. It's a brilliant game. Everyone should play it, but play it on PC. Another franchise that made its start right here in a first issue of PlayStation Magazine is Rayman. Again, lovely box art, very, very cutesy, and yeah, it's a very, very cutesy game. It's the review basically says that it's overly cute. It's almost too cute. But yeah, the main issue with this game, and the same it says so in this review, is it's so hard. It's just some of the levels are so frustratingly difficult. It's also very slow. The characters don't move around very quickly. So it can be quite frustrating in that regard. Obviously, when you're used to playing, for me, the perfect platform game is Sonic. It moves fast. It feels good. It's quite forgiving with the ring system. Platformers I don't love in general as a genre, but this one, I think if you're into platformers, you'd really get a lot out of this one. If you can forgive if you're into hard platformers, you'll get a lot out of this one. They gave it a 7 out of 10 and said, fantastic to look at, challenging to play, quirky and cute. It has the makings of a perfect game, if only it wasn't so damn clumsy and frustrating. And yeah, I think I've got friends who are really into platformers. They all say the same thing about this one. It's just a bit too clunky, a bit too hard to navigate. It's too hard. Simple as that. Because of that, I would give it a 6 out of 10 because I don't really care that much for the genre, and yeah, it is quite frustratingly difficult. But yeah, if you're into platform games, I think 7 out of 10 is pretty fair. Yeah, buy it if you like that sort of thing. So we've got 2 reviews next. On the left hand side we've got Street Fighter the movie, and then we've got theme parks. Let's start with Street Fighter the movie, which is yeah, it's one of those games which I haven't played up until now because everyone says it's terrible, and it is, but not in the way I thought it would be. A lot of people say it controls very jerkily, and the moves don't feel very responsive, and I didn't find that too bad, to be honest with you. However, it doesn't have the charm of a normal Street Fighter game. Let's read what they've put first of all. So, They give it a 6 out of 10 and said the might of Street Fighter name isn't enough to save the movie from an also ran in the beat 'em up stakes. The moves are here, but the feel has gone. A lot of people have said this is kind of Street Fighter but mixed with Mortal Kombat because of the digitized actors. Yeah, I can see that side of things, but it doesn't feel like a Mortal Kombat game. It still feels more like a Street Fighter game. There's 2 different modes in this one. There's the movie mode, which basically has you playing through scenes from the film. The problem is you can only play as Guile in this mode, and I don't like Guile. I don't like charged characters in general. So I found it very frustrating to play through the movie mode. I got right to the end, thought I'd beaten it, and spoiler alert, yeah, there's a second phase to the Bison character, and I couldn't get past him after hours of trying. That just means I'm bad at this game. Yeah, fair enough, it does. The normal battle mode though, when I can use characters with quarter circles and my favourite character Zangief, that's a lot more fun. And yeah, it plays quite well. It plays just like any other Street Fighter. You play it all the way to the end, you get a little bit of story segment to it. Multiplayer, again, absolutely fine, good fun. This game does have the super combo finish, which you can see just here, which later appears in the Street Fighter Alpha games, so that's quite fun. Some of the characters have different moves in this game, and there's also a character that doesn't appear in any other Street Fighter game. So yeah, it's a good enough game to say that 6 out of 10 is probably right, but I maybe slide it to a 7 the more I play it. Multiplayer is probably a 7. Yeah, somewhere between 6 and a 7. It's fun, but I've played better. And then the other game on this page is Theme Park, which is here. Classic box art, that one. I remember eyeing that up as a child on the Amiga, and yeah, I really wanted a copy of that game. I did eventually get it. The PlayStation version essentially, well, the review essentially says it's a business simulator. It's with a park theme to it, and yeah, that makes sense. They get an 8 out of 10. It said, a colourful yet complex management strategy game. Theme Park requires patience and concentrated effort. No quick fixes here. I enjoyed this. Like I say, I played the Amiga version as a kid, and I always wanted to play the PlayStation version. I remember seeing it on Bad Influence, the TV show, and they showed that you could go on the rides and see these FMV sequences, and I thought, oh my god, I really need that. My floppy disk version on the Amiga just cannot cope. But I really enjoyed playing it back in the day. The Amiga version does control a lot better than the PlayStation version, but this isn't too bad. It's essentially the same game, just with some funky FMV sequences. And yeah, it really is a business simulator. The most difficult mode, which means you have to buy stocks and shares from other parks, I didn't enjoy that too much. The normal mode, where you just get to go through the game and basically put lots of salt on your fries and overcharge for your Coke. Just it's a daft game, and it's kind of the rides are tertiary to the main aim of the game, which is yeah, rinsing your denizens of all their cash. I still think it's quite a hard game. I did struggle with it, but it's fun for a single playthrough. Overall, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. It doesn't warrant too many multiple playthroughs, but it's a good bit of fun. And this is the final page of reviews. So we've got 3 games here that didn't warrant a full section to themselves. And this is the roundup section. So first of all is Ultimate Parodius Deluxe. This came out as Parodius over here, and I don't have it. I've got the Deluxe pack, which is the Japanese version. Again, this is a very rare game, not as expensive as Rapid Reload. This one only goes for about £100, but it's just so rare. I just can't find a copy. Well, I say that my local shop has a copy, but they're charging 130. I just can't bring myself to spend a third over the odds. So I'm probably just going to wait around and hope someone trades one in at CEX. I think they've got it down at 85 at the minute, so I'll own this one sooner than Rapid Reload. But yeah, in terms of what is this game, well, it's a deluxe pack of Parodius Da and Fantastic Journey, which is kind of a upgraded sequel, a graphical overhaul, I suppose, of the original Parodius Da. What is Parodius? Parodius is a parody on Gradius, so it's a shmup with cutesy characters and lots of very daft and over-the-top animations. It's a lot of fun. I must admit, the Parodius Da, the first game, is quite difficult, but they've made it a lot easier in Fantastic Journey, or Fantastic Parodius, I think they call it on the Japanese one. Yeah, it's worth playing through, definitely. They give it a 6 out of 10 and said, mad Japanese blasting fare, not to everyone's taste, but still a high-octane shoot-'em-up, enjoyable for a while, but the predictable action soon pales. I think there's a reasonable bit of replayability on this one, because there's quite a lot of different crafts and they've all got different power-ups, and if you're into shoot-'em-ups, it's a lot of fun. They've got crazy jazzy music on this game as well, like a jazzy version of classical songs. But yeah, I'd say it's probably a 7 for me, 7 out of 10, because it is a lot of fun and it's definitely worth experiencing. It's just a shame the asking price is quite a lot for the PAL version, although the Japanese version is quite cheap. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me on that one. Total Eclipse, which is this one. It's actually Total Eclipse Turbo on the box, but yeah, just Total Eclipse on the side. This one is not good. Yeah, it's a 3DO port. The review basically says it's a 3DO port where they promised over the 2 years of development that they'd make it a better game, but they really haven't. I think it's got slightly better SMV sequence or something like that, but the collision detection's terrible and it's just a bit of a mess of a game. It's a rail shooter is this one, or 3D shoot 'em up if you prefer. They give it 5 out of 10 and says, this had all the ingredients of a real classic, impressive imagery, full-on blasting action and loads of levels. Unfortunately, it came out half-baked and lacking spice. 5 out of 10. So yeah, I'm not even going to be as generous as 5 out of 10, and this for me is a 4 out of 10 game, if that. It's just very repetitive. Basically, you do an overground section, you shoot flying things, they shoot you back. It doesn't feel, there's no weight to the shots. You float around, and it's like I said, it's a rail shooter, so you just kind of avoid the obstacles. Then you go into internal section, which is a little bit more frantic. You're avoiding scenery essentially inside the tunnels. And then you go back outside again, rinse and repeat over and over, and then you'll get to a boss. But it doesn't feel like you're doing any damage. It just feels a bit pants, if I'm honest. So yeah, give this one a miss. It's not worth playing. And then final game on the list, which got the lowest score in this magazine, is Kileak The Blood, which there is the box art, which is pretty cool box art actually. Big robots, fire, you know what's not to love. The game, unfortunately. They basically, like a lot of magazines did at the time, anything that's first person shooter they compared to Doom, and Doom obviously runs very quick and is fast paced and a lot of fun. This is a very slow paced game where you go find a key and then you go to another section and you solve a puzzle, then you go to another section and you go down an elevator, and it's quite bland corridor shooter. It's yeah, quite repetitive scenery. It does have some weird little janky FMV sequences that they've got a bit of a cult following, but it wasn't for me. I think they give it a 4 out of 10. They said, a game of two halves, commendable graphics and ambience, but lacking any of the variety, exhilaration or appeal of its inspiration. In short, duff. I would say 5 out of 10. Yeah, I mean, I played it for a little while, I got reasonably far on it. It's just not a great game. It's just a bit bland, especially compared to some of the other ones in this magazine. So yeah, that's it really. That's the last of the reviews. That's the end of the magazine. This has got a really cool robot on the back cover from Crazy Ivan to give you a bit of a taster for the next issue. If you like this video, I'll definitely have a look at that one as well. That one is the January 96 issue. I've got pretty much all these issues anyway, so let me know if you'd like to see that. Drop a like, let me know how you'd like me to improve this video as well, or potentially this series if we decide to go down that route. And yeah, leave me some comments, subscribe if you want to see more like this. I'm just going to finish off by looking at what were my favourite games from this issue. So Air Combat I thought was really good, and Jumping Flash was a really fun first person platformer. Ridge Racer, brilliant racing game, lots of fun. I will be going back to that one and keep trying to beat that one. There is an even better version of it on Ridge Racer Type 4 actually, which I think they called it High Spec Demo or something like that. I might be mixing that up with a Gran Turismo game. Anyway, it's a good game, well worth playing. And then my favourite one from this issue is 3D Lemmings, which is something of a surprise. So yeah, I'd say definitely try all 4 of those games. All of them are a lot of fun. And that's my takeaway from this issue. If you like this, like I say, please like it, leave a comment and subscribe. And fingers crossed, if you all like it, I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now.